Two queens playing the Queen's Gambit today. 26th of July. I was very happy and privileged to watch the game happening live, of course, like any other chess enthusiast out there. Wonderful players. Grandmaster from India, Humpy Koneru with the black pieces, and Divya Deshmukh, an international master, woman grandmaster. And what a game it was. Fabulous, a Queen's Gambit that very quickly, in just a couple of moves, became incredibly sharp. Let's go through the moves, guys. So d4, d5, c4. Fair enough. Okay. Takes. She played e4, Divya Deshmukh here. She didn't do knight f3. She didn't do e3, which are very theoretical and very much playable, but she went directly e4, the bishop on c4, already claiming take on c4. Now, e5, more pressure in the center. Knight to f3, developing. Bishop to b4 with tempo, checking the king. So you can't ignore this. Check is not compromisable. You need to react to this. Knight c3 blocking naturally, and knight to f6. Pressure on the e4, which is not defended currently because the knight is pinned. Knight takes now, so she went with capturing the black pawn. Also notice that the c4 is under double attack here. So b5 response by Humpy Koneru, bishop to e2, and bishop b7. Now this is something subtle going on here. And better than bishop b7 would have been for black to just castle now, because you won't believe that in this game actually Humpy Koneru didn't castle the king, and it was incredibly uncomfortable, very close to losing, amongst others because the black king was not castle at the right moment. And this is the right moment for black to play castle short. Of course, easier said than done. I'm just a bystander. I'm just one of those chess coaches that absolutely loves the game and admiring this lady's performing awesome chess. So castle short would have been perfect. Bishop b7 gives white the upper hand. White castle, very wise, very nicely. White king is cool and safe, not a problem. And now black took on c3, takes, and knight takes c4. And now here comes the move. Bishop a3, and this move does not allow black to castle. You cannot castle now the king. So this is a very important moment in the game, because now white is going to win, providing you play, of course, accurate moves up to the very end. Given the fact that the black king can't castle due to this bishop here, and you can't stop this bishop, I mean, you can't block it with nothing currently now. And of course, for this point of view, would have been incredibly disastrous for black to go knight takes c3. You would say, hey, that's a good move. I'm attacking the queen. I'm attacking the bishop with tempo. There would have been a bad choice following queen to c2, attacking the knight. And even if you take, queen takes back, aligning itself with the black king which can't be castled. As you notice here, you can't castle. This is very bad. And you are threatening to play a discover check. This is an absolute disaster. Black is completely losing here. So let me go back. Knight takes c4, bishop a3, not allowing the castling. And of course, Humpy here decided to play knight to d6 as per not allowing the bishop to stopping them from castling. Now, the move that Divya Deshmukh played, bishop f3, is very good, because attacks the bishop on the b7 first thing first, clears the e-file for potentially queen or rook to coming and attacking the king. And by the way, it's just attacks. It's an attacking move. It's great. Queen to c8 play by black here. And there's a little bit of a subtlety here. Divya Deshmukh went for a move that was not necessary to happen. She doesn't lose, but actually there were better alternatives here, stemming from rook a to b. Pressure on that particular file there. More importantly, bishop to g4, because that attacks the queen. That absolutely attacks the queen. This is a problem. f8 doesn't really work because bishop h5 checking the king, and this one doesn't really work because rook fe. This is an absolute disaster here for black. Completely compromised the black king's defenses. So there were better choices here for Divya. She went to play knight capture c4. Again, not losing for white, but something had been lost, because now game becomes balanced. I guess behind this choice of Divya Deshmukh was the fact that I'm giving up that piece because I'm going to also placing the rook attacking the king, and I'm having enough compensation with potentially my pieces doubling up a dangerous battery on the E. So rook fe1 checks the king. Very uncomfortable. So from a psychological standpoint here, I would not like to play this with the black pieces. It's just horrible. This is just not something you want to do. So here she traded on b7. Again, not the best stuff to do. You needed to keeping the bishop there and actually play something way more devastating, which would have been queen to e2. Would have been queen to e2. So this is actually winning now. If bishop were to take here, believe it or not, you were not supposed to take back. There is another move that actually destroys black in this position following bishop d6 check. You can't move. You got to go g8. Or you take the bishop. So let's say you take the bishop, right? Well, then we've got the queen to e7 check. King only goes g8 and then checkmate into moves due to the back rank issues here. Queen e8, rook e8, and checkmate. So there were better choices. Of course, for a bystander, I'm just an onlooker and I'm just enjoying watching the ladies performing incredible chess. But yeah, there was definitely then bishop takes b7 was the queen e2, the better choice here for white. So she took queen takes, queen e2, simply threatening queen to e7, an incredibly uncomfortable chess. So you need to react with knight to c6. Knight to d7 is not that good. Still, check is going to happen, then queen is going to take. So knight to c6 as per stopping the queen to e7 coming. Push the pawn forwards. Beautiful move that actually makes the black knight go away. We just simply capture that guy. Notice it doesn't work rook to e8, so that's a very cool idea. It doesn't work because if that were to happen, queen just captures and checkmate here because the bishop pins the black knight absolutely. So that one just doesn't work. It's a disaster. Just mentioning. So d5, the black knight has to play, or she actually decided to give up on the black knight because it's just simply untenable. So she's actually desperate here to looking towards making space either for the rook lift, and for further activation, perhaps king g8 if necessary. So she didn't play the knight. That would have been, anyway, bad choice. Already h5 allows black to start hoping because rook to h6. So rook ab1. Attacking the queen. Notice that the black queen has to keep defending the c6 black knight. And queen a6. Now she decided here, she decided to take on d6. Checking, of course. And now pawn takes, queen takes on c6, and rook to b4. Rook to b4. Personally, during the live stream, I was discussing with my dear friends online, and I was just thinking about the ideas like queen e7 straight away, claiming the b file, following a move like rook to b7, further pressure onto f7. So that's what I thought during the live game that was happening, and discussing with my other viewers. Rook to b4, not a bad move. It looks after the c4. You want to capture that guy if you can. Black rook defends it. So rook to c8 now, double defense on the c4, queen to e7 check, and king goes to safety. And now queen takes a7 is not a bad choice. Don't get me wrong, guys. But I think way better. And again, I was discussing live with my friends online during the stream. Rook to b7, rook b4 to b7 seemed to me and to others watching the game that actually would be more attacking, more direct threat, and forcing black into more defensive moves. And also later on, you might have been able to just simply take with the rook rather than with the queen. So all things considered, I think from a psychological human point of view, getting the rook on the 7th rank and preparing a battery with the queen might have been maybe better for white. But the game had normalized in terms of the eval gauge. h4 now to stopping any h5 coming down and solving the back rank issues if ever. Rook to g6, threatening simply checkmate on g2. She pushes g3. Queen goes to f3. You got to play this one very carefully. Rook now attacks the queen. That doesn't work here to taking because we're going to take back. There is no check. You can't just do this. There is no perpetual at this stage. Queen has to go to safety. Queen d1, checking, tempo, forcing g2. Again, now already getting drawish, and there's no more juice for white to keep up with the attack. But she decided to go in the end h2 because she wanted to try to play and to win if possible. Rook goes to f6, directly attacking f2. Rook to b2, dropping and defending the second rank. So f2 now is absolutely safe for the time being. Queen goes double attack on f2 by the rook and by the black queen. Defends. I'm going to move now queen to a8, checks the king. f4 being played. Not a bad move. Okay, allows also the queen perhaps to coming down and trading. Of course, white could have played now queen to g2. Queen to g2 now. In case black takes, you're going to take back. And if you can, we'll try to push the pawn and get the rooks behind the pass pawn and see if you can manage to create a threat via that a file with the pass pawn. Of course, with the most correct game, black is simply drawing here, but probably that would have been, again, psychologically, because chess is psychological for humans, would have been perhaps a better choice. That's my opinion, after all. Now it's getting a draw. After this beautiful maneuver with the rook on the b5, notice that if you capture, it's going to be a perpetual check due to the fact there is no rook protecting second rank, and now the black queen simply keeps checking, and that's just simply the end of it. So after this check here, king goes g6, there's no other square for them, and simply you've got nothing to try and to play. Rook takes, and now we're gonna have a threefold repetition here. Black can't win, but definitely this forever eternal check allows you to draw. And yeah, they just drew at this stage. I really enjoyed watching the ladies performing the first game of the final. And looking forward tomorrow, 27th of July. I'll try to cover that one as well. Other than that, thanks for stopping by, guys, and see you tomorrow.